Vandeham Shri Guru Juta Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamsam.
Hare Krishna everyone, welcome to the 51st episode of Paripraśna. So we have just 5 more chapters left in Canto 3 of Srimad Bhagavatam. So this whole section towards the end of Canto 3, that is from chapters 25 to chapters 33, a good 9 chapters, deals with Devahuti Kapila Dev Samvada. So where the son has taken the position of the guru and the mother is asking such wonderful questions and her son is enlightening her on the topics of Bhakti. So they've already talked about devotional service. He also explained in great detail, very scientifically, about Samkhya Yoga, material elements, and the different types of creation. And in the last chapter, in our previous episode, he has also described about Ashtanga Yoga. And in that chapter, towards the end, very, very vivid description, visual description of dhyana and dharana on the beautiful different limbs of the Lord. So having discussed all that, today our objective is to cover maybe 2 chapters. That is chapter 29, which is titled Explanation of Devotional Service by Lord Kapila, and also chapter number 30, where he talks about the adverse fruitive activities. Very, very profound chapters, very beautiful chapters. I was relishing so much just reading them, so I can't wait to actually get into the discussion of these chapters. So as always, without further ado, let's go ahead and inquire from His Holiness Bhakti Padma Saurav Pracharak Swami Maharaj. So Hare Krishna Maharaj, Dandavat Pranams, Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat.
So Maharaj, in this chapter, that is chapter number 29, it starts with Mother Devahuti asking 3 more questions. So she is asking again that she wants to know in greater detail about the different aspects of devotional service. And then she also wants to know about birth and death, the cycle of birth and death. And then she is also asking her son to explain about the eternal time. So Maharaj, when I was going through the purport of the first and second shloka, which is combined together here, Prabhupada is talking about 2 classes of people. One is called the mental speculators and the other called the sentimentalists. But Prabhupada is explaining how neither of these category of people are going to achieve the ultimate goal of life without the aid of devotional service. In fact, he gives this analogy of beating the husk that has no paddy. So it is Shrama eva hi kevalam. You can go on beating and beating, but you're not going to get anything out of it. So if you can just explain a little bit on this before we get into the answers given by Kapila Dev.
Sankhya is like finding the root of the tree.
Mm-hmm.
And after finding the root of the tree, if you don't water the tree, then what is the use? Like you know who is God, but if you don't serve him, what is the use? So just by jnana, nothing is going to happen. Now, here the word jnana even refers to impersonal jnana. Impersonal jnana means to know the Brahman aspect of the Lord. That is not going to lead you anywhere. Even mukti is not available for those people. Even in Bhagavad Gita also, Krishna says that kleshodikatarastesham avyaktasatva chesasam avyaktahi gatir dukkham deha bhravapyate. The process of impersonal realization, that is, process itself is very klesha, full of miseries.
Mm-hmm.
And then the result is also klesha, full of miseries. So pounding the husk, you're not going to get any grains. So in the same way, pounding or doing tapasya and all kinds of so-called process of self-realization on the process of jnana will not get anything other than only misery, because kaivalyam naravagaite. Even if one becomes liberated, the liberation what they're going to get, the jnanis are going to get, is only saujya.
Mhm.
Sauja means you have eternal life, but you don't have anybody to speak to. Like you're put in a jail and then say you will not die here. But only thing is you will not be able to speak to anyone. You'll not be able to see anyone.
Mm.
So it is eternal frustration. It is worse than hell. At least in hell you are suffering. At least you are able to speak to someone. At least you are able to see someone, express your pain. But there you have got eternal frustration. Though there is eternal life, but there is no bliss. So the stage of so-called liberation, where there is no bliss, that is called kaivalya, and that is nanakayate. That only in bhakti you get the actual liberation, that is to go back home, back to and serve Krishna. That is the reason it has been described that the jnanis and the yogis, they will not achieve the success in their life.
Okay. Who is the sentimentalist here, Maharaj?
On the other hand, sentimentalist is one who is watering the tree but not knowing where the root is.
Mm.
So he doesn't know Krishna is the root of everything, and he tries to go and then be religious. So those religious people, they're also frustrated because they don't know where to pour the water.
Mm.
Where to pour water means where to invest their emotions, where to offer their emotions. So they water the leaf, they water the branches, they water the twigs. Ultimately, tree dies.
Mm.
That is why Srila Prabhupada, he said in a very wonderful statement that religion without philosophy is sentiment.
Mm.
And philosophy without religion is mental speculation.
Mm.
That is why Krishna also says in the Bhagavad Gita, Sankhya Yoga Pratak Bala Paradantina Pandita. Those who say Sankhya and Yoga or Jnana and Bhakti, they are different. They are Bala.
Mm.
They are one and the same. So you have to harmonize Jnana and Yoga,
Mm.
Sankhya and Yoga. That is called Bhakti.
Okay.
Harmonizing Jnana and Yoga, Sankhya and Yoga is called Bhakti.
Mm.
Sankhya Yoga Pratak Bala Pradantina Pandita. Panditas, they don't say Sankhya Yoga and Yoga, both are different.
Mm.
Sankhya and Yoga are different. So Ekam Sankyam Cha Yogam Cha. Sankhya and Yoga are one and the same. One is trying to find the root of the tree, another is to water the root of the tree. In this way, both of them combined together, actually called Bhakti.
Very nice, Maharaj. So Maharaj, along with devotional service, Mother Devahuti is also asking about wanting to know the cycle of birth and death and time. So now our goal is to get out of the cycle of birth and death. Our goal is to go beyond the influence of time. So given this, why does she want to know about these things?
विरागो येन पुरुषो भगवान् सर्वतो भवेत् चक्षवा जीवलोकस्य विविधा मम संस्कृति. For the purpose is to create a certain kind of virakti. When you become disgusted of something, then you try to find something higher.
Mm-hmm.
Just being disgusted is not liberation. But to create a disgust will create an impetus for you to find something higher.
Mm.
Like suppose somebody is eating dry chapatis every day with some salt and some chili powder.
Mm.
So now you have to create a virakti from it. Then only you'll try to explore. There is something called rasgulla or gulab jamun.
Mm.
That is the reason the doshas, janma mrityu jara vayadi dukkha doshanu darshanam.
Mm-hmm.
One has to see the doshas in this material world. That is one of the aspects of knowledge. Though that itself is not enough, but that leads you to explore the higher limbs of existence called bhakti. That is the reason to create that vairagya, the disgust in a person, so that he can pay attention to something else other than enjoying this world and trying to make a permanent situation in this world. Vaikunta Brahma and Ananda Brahma. That has to be disturbed. You create the disturbance in the mind so that he realizes that I'm in a very unfortunate situation, then he understands or tries to find a fortune.
Mm.
Otherwise, he'll think this unfortunate situation itself is fortune, or try to find some permanent place and some happiness in the non-permanent and place, and a place where it is full of dukkhalaya.
Mm. Mm. Okay. So Maharaj, here in the fifth verse, she calls Kapila Dev by a very nice name, Yoga Bhaskaraha. Why she is calling him Yoga Bhaskaraha?
See, Bhaskara means sun.
Mm.
Bhaskaraha, Kila Loka Bhaskaraha. Because Mitya Matehe, Mityaya Mate means I am in illusion, darkness of illusion. So the sun, when it raises, it removes the darkness of this world. But what about the darkness within our heart?
Mm.
The darkness in the heart has to be destroyed.
Mm.
And that darkness of material existence is in your heart.
Mm.
So in the sun of transcendental knowledge raises in your heart, that is the time the darkness of the heart goes away.
Mm.
So to destroy the ajnana, which has got its swarupa in the form of ahankara. So that is why he has been described as a sun for destroying the darkness of ignorance in the material life.
Okay, okay. So now we will get into the section where he is going to destroy that ignorance. So seventh verse, Shri
Yeah, and
Bhagavan.
also
Yes.
another reason why it's called Bhaskara, he's going to destroy the darkness at the same time. When the sin rises, then the lotus blooms.
Mm.
So when the sun of transcendental knowledge raises in the heart, then the bhakti, the lotus of bhakti also blooms.
Beautiful. Very nice. Okay. So getting to seventh verse now. Shri Bhagavan Bhakti Yogo Bahuvido Margair Bhamini Bhavyate Swabhava Guna Margena Pumsam Bhavo Vibhidvate. Lord Kapila, the personality of Godhead, replied, O noble lady, there are multifarious paths of devotional service in terms of the different qualities of the executor. And then in the next three verses, very interesting that in the eighth verse, he's talking about bhakti in the mode of darkness. Abhisandhaya yohimsam dambham matsaryameva va sambrahmi bhinna dridbhavam mai kuryat satamasaha. Devotional service executed by a person who is envious, proud, violent, and angry, and who is a separatist, is considered to be in the mode of darkness. And then in the ninth verse, Vishayan abhisandhaya yasha aishwaryameva va archada varchayedyo mam pruthak bhava sarajasah. The worship of deities in the temple by a separatist with a motive for material enjoyment, fame, and opulence is devotion in the mode of passion. And the 10th verse, कर्मनिर्हारमुद्दिश्य परस्मिन् वा तदर्पणं यजेद्यष्टव्यमिति वा पृथक् भाव स सात्विकः. When a devotee worships the Supreme Personality of Godhead and offers the results of his activities in order to free himself from the inebrities of fruitive activities, his devotion is in the mode of goodness. And then in the 11th and 12th verse, I'll just read the translation. He talks about the pure devotional service. The manifestation of unadulterated devotional service is exhibited when one's mind is at once attracted to hearing the transcendental name and qualities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is residing in everyone's heart. Just as the water of the Ganges flows naturally down towards the ocean, such devotional ecstasy, uninterrupted by any material condition, flows towards the Supreme Lord. So, Maharaj, until now, we have talked about different yogic paths. There is Jnana Yoga, there is Ashtanga Yoga, Sankhya Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Karma Yoga. But however, you said it's more like a ladder and it's all, ultimately Bhakti Yoga only. But here, Lord Kapila is telling even within bhakti there are multifarious paths. And then he goes on to say there is bhakti performed in the mode of goodness, passion, ignorance, and beyond all this, there is the unadulterated devotional service. So we know that bhakti is something that takes us beyond the three modes. Now, what is this that bhakti is performed in the three modes?
See, bhakti is performed in the three modes because of the intention of the person. Swabhava gunamargena pumsan bhavo vidyate. So now here it is not three kinds of bhakti, it is three kinds of bhaktas.
Oh, okay.
There is nothing like tamasika bhakti, there is nothing like rajasika bhakti, there is nothing like sattvika bhakti. Bhakti is transcendental. Now, here you have to pay attention to this verse. He says, Mai kuryat sa tamasa. Sa tamasa. Sa tamasa means what? It is not that sa means that person. That person who is performing bhakti with the intention of hatred, to show hatred to someone. He is a bhakta, he is performing bhakti, but he is very angry, he just cannot tolerate others' happiness, and he sees others' happiness and then feels very envious, and he wants to show that I am superior to that person, and he has no compassion. Such a person, when he performs bhakti, that bhakti is called tamasika bhakti, not because that bhakti is tamasika, but because of his nature, sabhava.
Okay.
So now, not to keep any suspense, these three kinds of bhakti plus one more that is known as Shuddha Sattva, pure devotional service. These four kinds of bhakti, tamasika, rajasika, sattvika, and Shuddha Sattva. There are four examples given in the fourth canto. Daksha, Dhruva, Ritu Maharaj, Prachetas. So this particular section with the 4 or 5 verses here, or in this particular chapter, becomes the basis of the fourth canto.
Okay.
Bhakti is not rajasika or tamasika or sattvika. Bhakti is always transcendental. But based on the person's svabhava, mai kuryat satamasa, sambrambhi bhinnadrigbhavan, dambam matsaryam evava, and avisandhayo himsam. So these are the people who are in mode of good ignorance. When they perform bhakti, bhakti is always transcendental. But still, because of the performer's intentions, that is swabhava, gunamargena, because of their qualities, intentions, and gunas, by the raising by their nature, pumsan bhavo vividyate. There is a distinction.
Okay. So 13th verse, Salokya sarshti samipya sarupyaikattvamapyuta diyamanam na grihnanti vina matsevanam janah. A pure devotee does not accept any kind of liberation, Salokya, Sarshti, Samipya, Sarupya or Ekatva, even though they are offered by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Maharaj, there are this Chatur Purusharthas, Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. So even in the Chatur Purusharthas, Moksha or Mukti is considered higher. And here it is said for a bhakta, even if the Lord himself is giving all these types of mukti, the 5 types of mukti, the devotee is saying, no, I don't want. So why is he rejecting them?
So what is described here is Shuddha Bhakti, pure devotional service. A pure devotee rejects even liberation. That is a core concept of the entire Bhagavatam. This verse is the basis of the entire Bhagavatam in one sense. Because in the Narada Vyasa Samvad happened, Narada told Vyasa, in spite of all your wonderful descriptions of the Vedic literatures, but still you are frustrated, you are not happy. The reason is that you have insulted bhakti. You offended bhakti by saying that by bhakti you get mukti. Actually, bhakti is beyond mukti. Bhakti actually starts after mukti. Actual bhakti starts after mukti. That is why even muktas, even liberated souls also perform bhakti. So Narada told Vyasa, you write a book in which this concept is clearly described. What is that concept? Bhakti starts after mukti. Muktas also perform bhakti. And that is where these famous words came. Atma ramascha munyo nirgranta purukrame kurvante hetukim bhakti mittam bodhagano harihi. By experiencing or hearing or seeing the qualities of Krishna, Atma Ramaha, those who are self-satisfied, even they become very eager to hear and chant the glories of the Lord. They are self-satisfied, but still they become totally disturbed by hearing the qualities of Krishna. And they become very eager to hear them. That is what happened to Sukadeva Goswami. That is happened to poor Kumaras. They were Brahmavutta avastha, but still they got attracted to Krishna Bhakti. So this is a very important verse in the entire Bhagavatam, because that becomes the basis of Bhagavatam, that becomes the distinct quality of Srimad Bhagavatam, which distinguishes from other Puranas. How Bhagavatam is known as Mahapurana. It is known as Paramahamsa Samhita. Why it is the topmost of all the Puranas? It is because of this verse. It's been described. Dhiyamanam nigrananti vinamat sevanam vanvat sevanam jana. So these three kinds of bhakti, that is Sattvika, Rajasika, Tamasika. Though it is said three kinds of bhakti, it is not three kinds of bhakti. When three kinds of people in mode of ignorance, passion, goodness perform bhakti, being influenced by mode of passion, of ignorance, they want to harm others by doing their bhakti. And you harm your own body to get some material gain, that is known as Rajasika. And you try to attain some liberation by or get some removal of sin. I perform a chant so that I can get rid of sin. That is Sattvika Bhakti. But a devotee is not interested in getting rid of sin also. He just wants to be Krishna. And that is Sattvika Bhakti. Shuddha Sattva. Bhakti in Shuddha Sattva, pure devotional service. Now we have three Tamasic, Rajasic and Tamasic. When you have 9 forms of devotional service performed by 3 kinds of devotees, becomes 27. And when you say in Sattva Guna, there is Sattva, Sattva, Sattva Rajas, Sattva Tamas. So then again you multiply by 3. So you become 9 multiplied by 3 into 3. We say if you have 81 kinds of devotional service. It's very complicated network. So just practice pure devotional service. And what is pure devotional service is also described very nicely in very important 2 verses, which has been given as a pramana by Rupa Goswami to establish pure devotional service. Madguna Shruti Matrena Mayi Sarvaguhashe Mayo Manogatina Vichinna Yatha Gangamba Sombudo Lakshanam Bhakti Yogasya Nirgunasya Udaharatam Ahetuki Aviheta Ya Bhaktir Purushottame. So Lakshanam Bhakti Yogasya. What kind of bhakti? Nirgunasya bhakti. Other 3 are guna, saguna bhakti. And here this is nirguna bhakti. Nirgunasya hi utavratam. And that is ahetuki avavita. So this is where this verse is given as a pramana by Rupa Goswami for the verse which he himself composed. Anya vilashta shunyam jnana karma dhanavritam anukulena krishnana shilam bhakti ruttama. So it is a verse composed by Rupa Goswami, but he has to give pramana for it. So this verse, the 12th verse becomes the pramana for 11th and 12th verse of this chapter becomes the pramana for Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu practically. Yeah.
Okay. Wow, fantastic and elaborate description, very helpful. Maharaj, just one thing, until the 27, this thing I was following, what happened, how we went from 27 to 81? The Sattva, Rajas, all that I followed. After that, 81, how did it become?
9 multiplied by 3. 9 is 9 forms of devotional service.
Mhm.
3 sattva, rajas, tama, that became 27.
Oh, 27. Okay.
Take Shravanam in sattva. Okay?
Mm.
But within sattva, there is sattva. There is
Mm.
sattva, rajas, and sattva, tamaha.
Mhm.
Uh,
Oh, okay.
so
Okay.
in this way, there is color, variety.
Mhm.
Like you have red color, then you have many shades in it.
Mhm.
Like that.
Mhm. So 9 times 3 times 3, that is how you meditate even. Okay.
Yes.
Good, good. Okay. So Maharaj, going forward on this discussion, so now this whole section here, next section, where Kapila Dev is talking about the different, I don't know how to put it, maybe the characteristics that are going to help one get to the devotion, I mean pure devotional service. So here in the 15th verse, he's talking about two important things: following one's own duties, executing one's own prescribed duties, and without excessive violence to perform devotional activities. Maybe I'll quote the verse. निषेवितेन निमित्तेन स्वधर्मेण महीयसा क्रियायोगेन शस्तेन नातिहिंस्रेण नित्यशः. A devotee must execute his prescribed duties, which are glorious, without material profit. Without excessive violence, one should regularly perform one's devotional activities. So in Bhagavad Gita also, Krishna emphasizes, he very rarely repeats the shloka, but in Bhagavad Gita in chapter 3 and chapter 18, Krishna emphasizes about this word Shreyan, Swadharmo, Vigunaha, Paradharma, all that. So here also again it is said, do your own Swadharma. So Prabhupada very nicely here is distinguishing, it's not that doing one's duty is separate and devotional activity is separate. Doing one's duty only, that itself can become an offering. And Prabhupada is giving an example of here different devotees. A Brahmana can serve the Lord by using his intelligence, and the Kshatriya can serve the Supreme Lord by using his military arts, just as Arjuna served Krishna. Arjuna was a warrior, he had no time to study Vedanta or other highly intellectual books. The damsels in Vrajadama were girls born of the Vaishya class, and they engaged in protecting cows and producing agriculture. Krishna's foster father Nanda Maharaj and his associates were all Vaishyas. They were not at all educated, but they could serve Krishna by loving him and by offering everything to him. Similarly, there are many instances in which Chandalas or those lower than Shudras have served Krishna. Also, the sage Vidura was considered a Shudra because of his mother happened to be Shudra. There are no distinctions, for it is declared by the Lord in Bhagavad Gita that anyone engaged specifically in devotional service is elevated to the transcendental position without a doubt. So, how can one see this together, Maharaj? Usually we distinguish, there is my duty and there is my sadhana, but actually Prabhupada is integrating the two.
You're talking about the 15th verse.
Yes, yes, Maharaj.
So very interesting verse. And this verse is very important because we have two kinds of duties. One is the material duties, because being born from the conditioned consciousness, there are certain duties. And there are spiritual duties from the constitutional state, consciousness. Now, how to harmonize these two? That's the question here.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in bhakti, practicing pure devotional service, we don't reject varnashrama. We accept that varnashrama dharma, only that aspect of varnashrama dharma, which is not covering Krishna consciousness, covering bhakti, but it is helpful for bhakti.
Mm-hmm.
So that is the thing which has been discussed here. So, nishevita nimittena swadharmena mahiyasa. Swadharmena, one should practice swadharma. How one should practice swadharma? How? See the word here? Nishevitena nimittena swadharmena mahi. What is the meaning of mahiyasa?
Glorious.
Glorious. But you have to practice those varnashrama principles as described by the previous acharyas.
Mm-hmm.
That is why Rupa Goswami, when he coined this verse of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, Anya Vilashuta Shunyam, Jnana Karma Jnanavritam. He said Jnana Karma Adi Anavrutam. It is Jnana Karma Adi Shunyam. He did not say that.
Mm.
You can accept that karma, which is known as Swadharma, which is not covering your bhakti. It is not antagonistic to your bhakti. For example, in some families, in some traditions, there is a Shraddha karma performed by offering flesh, animal killing to the Pitris. But that is antagonistic to bhakti.
Mm.
So that is rejected. There are certain things within Varnashrama which are favorable for bhakti, number one, or it is not covering bhakti, pure devotion. Right? That is the thing which is to accept. That is why it is said that the mind has to be purified by following the Varnashrama duties as approved by the previous devotees, the Purvacharyas. And that too, it should be done animittena, just for the sake of doing duty. For the sake of performing the duty, it has to be done. Which are favorable bhakti. It should not be antagonistic to bhakti. At the same time, kriya yogena shastrena shastena. So what is the meaning of kriya yoga here? Kriya yoga means deity worship. So by worshipping the deities, na ati mishrena nityashaha, and without any violence, means it is to be done for the benefit of others. You should work for the benefit of others. So the constitutional duties have to be performed only to such an extent that it is not antagonistic to bhakti, rather it is favorable to bhakti. As soon as it becomes unfavorable, it should be rejected. That is why in future, in the further verses, the 22nd verse of the 25th chapter, in the previous chapter, 25th chapter, Kapila tells his mother Devi that Mai Ananya Bhavena Bhaktim Kurvanti Jadan Matkrite Tekto Karmana Tektva Sujana Bandhava. Once my devotee finds there is some problem in my bhakti because of performing this karma, he gives up that karma. If he finds somebody is not very favorable for his devotional service, his family members, then Tektva Sujana Bandhava, he gives up his Swajanas and Bandhavas because they are not favorable for his devotional service. So if they are favorable, he accepts it. If they are not favorable, he rejects it. And that is called Sharanagati. In the 6 items of Sharanagati, or 6 lakshanas of Sharanagati, Anukula Sankalpa, Pratikulasya Varjana. So whatever is Anukula, you accept. What is Pratikula, you reject. So in some aspects of Varnashrama are Anukula accepted. Varnashrama Dharma in itself is not Bhakti. But if there are certain principles in Varnashrama Dharma, they are favorable for Bhakti, accepted. If some things are not favorable, then reject.
Okay. So regarding this Nati him Srena, so Prabhupada is writing here, we cannot avoid violence, for we are put into a conditional life in which we have to commit violence, but we should not commit more violence than necessary or than ordered by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So what is this more violence than necessary? What is necessary violence and what is more than necessary?
Like for example, when you are plucking a fruit for Krishna, isn't it? When you are plucking a root, then some insects are being killed. And very, very difficult to avoid some violence in any normal act. You are walking, you are cleaning the floor, and you walk and you find there are so many insects, there ants are there. So while cleaning the temple and preparing food, and then when look at decoration of the floor, the temple, you require to do some violence. But when you're doing these things for Krishna, then the sin arising from that violence is not affecting you. But in the Varnashrama system, you have to do Pancha Mahayajnas, but automatically discovered by worshipping the deity. You don't have to do separately other Prayashchittas in described in the Vedic literatures for these Pancham Guna or Pancha Mahapapas, 5 papas. When drinking water, pouring water in the vessel, when you are walking, when you are cleaning, lighting fire, naturally you're going to, you just cannot avoid these things. Naturally you're going to kill some insects and bacteria and other things.
Okay.
So when you do these things for Krishna, then you don't have to do any other prayaschitta, because these things are automatically taken care of. But you just cannot go and say, I want to kill this dog which is there on the street, which is barking and disturbing my chanting. Like Ashwatthama, sorry, Ekalavya.
Yeah.
He shot an arrow and then he made the dogs. Dog it's supposed to bark. It's an animal. You cannot show violence, excessive violence, on the name of devotional service.
Okay, thank you, Maharaj. So, Maharaj, in the next few verses, of course, we don't have the time to get into each and every aspect, the characteristics, but however, just briefly touching upon them. So, in the 16th verse, Kapila Dev is talking about the importance of deity worship, but with a spiritual vision, seeing that super soul is there in everybody. And then in the 17th, he talks about 3 ways of dealing with different people. So, we have to deal with respect to our superiors, compassion towards our subordinates, and friendship towards our equals, and then regulations, yamena niyamena cha, the do's and don'ts that we have to follow. So, and then he also talks about in the 18th verse about hearing, chanting, simplicity, association without false ego. So, if you can briefly touch upon how all these characteristics are conducive to help us to get us to the platform of Shuddha Bhakti.
See, Shuddha Bhakti means pure devotional service. So that means you understand that Krishna is in everybody's heart also. So you respect everyone according to their status. So that is called pure devotional service. So it is not that we worship the deity and then misbehave with others. We don't misbehave with others. That is why one has to be friendly. Maitraya, Vatmatulyeshu. To have to see that be friendly to one's equals and be respectful for those who are superiors and show compassion to those who are inferior to you. Now, because I'm a devotee, I just cannot misbehave with others. I have nothing to do with this world. I'm a devotee now. So this kind of pride has to be given. So that is what Krishna is indicating here. That give up pride. And then constantly chant the names of Krishna. By antakkarana, purification of the antakkarana should be done. To perform bhakti, one has to hear about Krishna. If you are interested in hearing your own glories, how will the glories of Krishna enter into your ears? That's the reason Kapila speaks these verses.
So really like how in the 19th and 20th verse, especially in the 20th verse, so beautifully he's saying, Yathavatarato ghranam avrinte gandha ashayat evam yogaratam cheta atmanam avikariyat. As the chariot of air carries an aroma from its source and immediately catches the sense of smell, similarly, one who constantly engages in devotional service in Krishna consciousness can catch the Supreme Soul who is equally present everywhere. So, how beautiful that he is saying, just like the air carries the aroma to the nostril in a very natural way. So, if we have all these attributes, then naturally the devotional service will carry our mind to the lotus feet of the Lord. So, is this a very natural thing, Maharaj? It happens because people think it is instantaneous, but however, here gradually the mind has to be purified by practicing all these things, and then that natural thing happens.
Yes, it happens gradually only. It is not going to happen all of a sudden. Now, the difference between meditation on the Lord by the process of bhakti and meditation by the Ashtanga yogis, the difference is this.
Mhm.
The Ashtanga yogis do the meditation on the Lord with a great endeavor. It is artificial. Whereas the devotees' meditation on the Lord is quite spontaneous and natural. The reason is very simple. When you love someone, meditation is a byproduct of your love. You don't have to exclusively sit and then do dhyana on somebody whom you love. Even when you're cooking, you're thinking of that person. Right? Do you think to think of Krishna, Yashoda needs to do some meditation every day like this and sit and then do meditation? No.
Not Mhm.
So when you love, to the extent you develop love for Krishna, to the extent meditation is natural. Mind is carried towards the Supreme Lord.
Mhm.
So when you practice devotional service, angas of bhakti, there is a development of love towards Krishna. To that extent, there is a natural meditation on Krishna.
Mhm.
That's what is meant here.
Okay, got it. So, Maharaj, in the next section, Kapila Muni is also warning us about offenses in bhakti, and here he is repeatedly emphasizing the ability to see the presence of Paramatma in everybody, and he is talking about this separatist mentality. So, where is that word? I wanted to say Bhinna Srishti. Just I put it down.
Bhinna darshinaha, 23rd
Correct.
verse.
Yes, yeah. So, what is the Samadarshinaha and Bhinna Darshinaha, the distinction between the two?
So when Bhinnadarshi means to see Krishna and other living entities or other living entities not in connection with Krishna. To see others as distinct from Krishna in the sense that they don't see that Krishna is, they are related to Krishna. Like Srila Prabhupada once said, if you love me, love my dog.
Mm.
So you cannot say, I love Krishna, but not you because I hate you. No, you are you see a devotee of Krishna or even any living entity.
Yeah.
They are all devotees of Krishna. Everybody is a devotee of Krishna. But some people know, some people don't know. That's the reason. So when you have vairasya, when you have enmity towards others, then though you are worshipping Krishna, it will not be peaceful. So this is called Bhinna Darshinaha. So everybody is suffering in this world because they are not practicing Krishna consciousness. And they are suffering because they are not Krishna conscious. Then if you don't see their suffering as your suffering, and you think their suffering is theirs, I'm a devotee, let them go to hell. I'm not bothered about it. So then that attitude, Krishna doesn't like it. That is why it becomes prakrita bhakta, kanishtadikari.
Okay. So this becomes a little challenging because yes, he did emphasize on the equal vision here based on the presence of Paramatma in everybody. But however, in this section from 28th to 34th verse, Kapila Dev himself is giving this very elaborate gradation in jivas. So, on one level, we have to discriminate. There are material distinctions, differences, but at the same time, there is the spiritual equality. So, how does one balance this? You have an equal vision on the spiritual platform. At the same time, like you also said, it's not that we treat everybody equally based on one status, you do give them the due respect. So, how does that equal vision is not equal to losing discrimination? So, material differences, spiritual equality. How does one reconcile these two?
So just because there is distinction between on the material platform, that doesn't give you an authority or a right to hate someone. So Prakrita, he hates someone. He doesn't just bother about it. He doesn't see Krishna is in everybody's heart. Now, a person who is at the level of Madhyamadikari, what he sees Krishna, and then he sees devotees, he sees innocent, he sees the envious people, he sees the distinction, and then he acts accordingly. That is called a Madhyamadikari.
Mhm.
Now, however, he worships Krishna, and then he loves the devotees. Then what does he do? He simple people are there. He shows kripa, and then for those who are envious, he does apeksha, means he becomes indifferent to them.
Mhm.
So that is how he discriminates. It is not that he is hating
Mhm.
those people who are envious. He doesn't hate. He becomes indifferent to them.
Mhm.
That is why it is said that Athamam Sarabhuteshu, one who worships me, who is there in everybody's heart.
Mhm.
At the same time, there are envious people, he rejects them. Rejects them means he, what do you say, Nazarandas, he neglects them.
Mhm.
That's it. Yeah.
Okay. And one more distinction Prabhupada emphasizes in these verses is just because Krishna here, Kapila Dev is telling us you have to see the presence of super soul in everybody, does not mean that they are God. You don't treat them like God.
Definitely, they are all gods, apostrophes, gods. So you
Mhm.
treat them, they are connected to God. They are related to, they are anshas of Krishna. Amaivaamsho jiva loke jiva sanatana.
Okay. Okay. So Maharaj, moving to the last section of this chapter, very powerful, where Kapila Dev is answering Devahuti, Mother Devahuti's yet another question that he's going to talk about time. So I'm jumping to the 37th verse now. रूपभेदास्पदं दिव्यं काल इत्यभिधीयते भूतानां महदादीनां यतो भिन्नदृशां भयम्. The time factor who causes the transformation of the various material manifestations is another feature of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Anyone who does not know that time is the same Supreme Personality is afraid of the time factor. So, Maharaj, this time factor has been discussed in Bhagavad Gita and even in the earlier cantos of Bhagavatam. So, Krishna himself in 11th chapter told Arjuna, Kalosmi, I am Kala. And even in first canto, Bhishma Pitamaha, while he was empathizing with the suffering of Kunti and her sons, the Pandavas, he also said, oh, it is because of Kala that you all went through so much. And then he takes it to another level of discussion. And I don't know, I forget, maybe in the second canto or maybe in the earlier chapters of third canto, we also talked about the different calculations of time and all, very interesting aspect. So here again, time is being discussed. So one, if you can again reiterate what is time in connection with Krishna, and number two, this line here, anyone who does not know that time is the same Supreme Personality is afraid of the time factor.
Time is energy of Krishna. Time is unconscious energy of Krishna.
Mhm.
Time is eternal unconscious energy of Krishna.
Hmm. Wow.
So it is not interaction of the material elements. It is beyond the 24 material elements. So one who doesn't accept time as beyond the 24 elements, uh, it is not within the purview of the material world, though it is unconscious. So then that is atheism. Atheism has got its roots in having a misunderstanding about the time. Should know time as energy of Krishna.
Mm.
That is why Krishna says, time I am, Kalosmi. Because time and Krishna are non-different because time is energy of Krishna, Kala. So one who don't see Kala as Krishna's energy, then they see Krishna as Kala.
Mm. Mm.
When they don't see Kala as Krishna, Kala means death.
Mm.
So when death comes, the devotee is very happy. Oh, Krishna is coming, Krishna is coming.
Mm. Mm.
Because he see Kala, time, death as Krishna. He's very happy.
Mm.
So when the non-devotees just see Krishna, oh, time has come, Kala has come.
Mm.
They're afraid
Mm. Mm.
because they don't see that this time or Kala is energy of Krishna. So why to be afraid of death? Very good. Like how a boy or a child, student who is, when he sees the examination, one student becomes very happy. Exams are coming, because he's very much prepared for the examination. He knows the purpose of examination, that knowledge of examination will make him uh, uh, feel happy that the exams are coming.
Mm.
On the other hand, you have those who are not prepared for the examination, those who don't have knowledge, they are afraid of the examination.
Mm.
They say, oh, exams are coming, exams. They are afraid.
Mm.
Same way here, when you see Kala, when you have proper understanding of Kala, that is Krishna's energy, then you're not afraid.
Mm.
When you don't see Kala as Krishna's energy, then it's fear.
Mm. So, Maharaj, you highlighted how a devotee and a non-devotee perceive death, Kala, as death. But what about while living? How does a non-devotee use their time, and how does a devotee use their time? We say we are managing time. I remember in one of the Brahmastra segments, I asked you, how do you manage time, Maharaj? You said, I don't. You said, Krishna is managing my time. You said, I don't have like a diary, journal. You said, you don't plan. So, how does a devotee really engage their time?
Yes, the principle is avyartha kalatvam. You know, it is Krishna's energy, so it should not be wasted.
Mm.
So there are different ways of the details are different according to their nature. So need not copy me because so the principle is the same.
Mm.
Some are very meticulous in certain things, and somebody is not meticulous, but the principle should be applied because everybody's karma is different, everybody's nature is different.
Yeah.
There are some people are very meticulous, they maintain diary, their time, and all these things. Very good. Just because I don't do that, that doesn't mean that nobody should do that. But the principle is this. What is the principle? The principle is avirta kalatvam, not to waste time because it is Krishna's energy. It is Krishna's energy, so it should not be wasted. If you waste, then whether it's money or anything, it's all Krishna's. It is electricity, anything. And the most valuable thing is time. So that should not be wasted. That should be used in Krishna's service. That is a principle. And how you utilize it, that all depends on one's nature, one's karma, and one's situation, etc.
Just one observation, Maharaj. I don't know if I'm perceiving this correctly. You can correct me. So you said time is Krishna's eternal unconscious energy, but although it is unconscious, I sometimes feel it is conscious. Like you said, this avyarta kalatva. If there are days where you feel like you have been consciously using time in Krishna's service, it just seems like time is expanding. Suddenly you feel like there is more time to. It's like, although it is unconscious, it seems like Krishna is reciprocating.
Yeah, because Krishna knows that you are using the time in a proper way, so he expands it.
Yeah.
He expands it. Like when, even in the normal affairs, when the father gives some money to the son, he gives 2,000 rupees when he goes for a picnic, and the son comes back, and then he gives a hisab. I spent 10 rupees here, 50 rupees here. I purchased this here, and then this is how I saved around 622 rupees. The father becomes very happy, right? Because he's very conscious of what has been given. It's not his money, father gave. The next time he'll say, take 10,000.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah.
Like that.
Very nice way of putting it. So, Maharaj, just one more thing on time and we'll move to the next chapter quickly. So, here I'm jumping to the 40th verse. So, here I'll just read the translation, not the shlokas. Out of fear of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the wind blows. Out of fear of Him, the sun shines. Out of fear of Him, the rain pours forth showers. And out of fear of Him, the host of heavenly bodies shed their luster. Out of fear of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the trees, creepers, herbs, and seasonal plants and flowers blossom and fructify each in its own season. Out of fear of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the rivers flow, the ocean never overflows. Out of fear of Him only does fire burn, and does the earth with its mountains not sink in the water of the universe. Subject to the control of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the sky allows outer space to accommodate all the various planets which hold innumerable living entities. The total universal body expands with its seven coverings under His supreme control. Out of fear of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the directing demigods in charge of the modes of material nature carry out the functions of creation, maintenance, and destruction. Everything, animate and inanimate, within this material world is under their control. The eternal time factor has no beginning and no end. It is the representative of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the maker of the criminal world. It brings about the end of the phenomenal world. It carries on the work of creation by bringing one individual into existence from another, and likewise, it dissolves the universe by destroying even the Lord of Death, Yamaraja. So, this whole section, out of fear, this is happening, out of fear, that is happening. So, how can one practically move from acting from out of fear and instead out of love, like you said, understanding that time is energy of Krishna?
See, this love and fear seem to be antagonistic, but there is something called fear in love.
Fear in love. Okay.
And there's something called love in fear.
Interesting.
Let me give an example.
Mhm.
Like when you have love for someone, when you love someone, there is a fear of displeasing that person.
True. Yeah.
So here, yad bhayat vati vatoyam, from one aspect, it seems to be that they don't have love, and Krishna is making them fearful, showing his power. Hey, if you don't do this, I'm going to kill you. And then they're afraid, I will do it. But that is not the case here. Krishna is all love. And these elements and their presiding demigods, they are all devotees of Krishna. So now they are doing their duties to please Krishna, and they're afraid of displeasing.
Nice. Very nice.
This is called fear in love. So they are in love. In that there is, the domain is love. In that there is the aspect of fear. Like a young boy, he loves the mother. He does some stupid activity, mischievous activity. So it's childish nature to do. And then he's very afraid of mother. But he says, oh, Mummy maregi, Mummy will beat me. But there is an aspect of love there. Because his fear is not because of getting beaten, because he has fear of displeasing mother. So not every time, not every fear is antagonistic to love, but it is it can be integral part of integral aspect of love. So that is what is described. Now there is love in fear. So the atmosphere is of that fear, and then you artificially, so yes, I love you, but that is not going to last long. Whereas fear in love is going to enhance their love, because the person whom you love, he knows that, oh, you're so afraid of displeasing. Then that person's love increases. So that's the.
Very beautiful, very nicely explained. So, Maharaj, moving on to the next chapter, chapter number 30, description by Lord Kapila of adverse fruitive activities. I really like how he connects from there to here. So, this was Kapila Uvacha Tasyaitasya Jano Nunam Nayam Vedoru Vikramam Kalyamanopi Balino Vayur Iva Ganavalihi. The personality of Godhead said, as a mass of clouds does not know the powerful influence of the wind, a person engaged in material consciousness does not know the powerful strength of the time factor by which he is being carried. What a wonderful way of putting it. So, Maharaj, in this chapter, the first 18 verses, what a vivid description of the conditional life, the material existence of somebody who is living a material life, and then their death, the near death experience, the disease, and old age, different things. So, once you had mentioned, once or many times in the past, you had mentioned scriptures have different tones they use in conveying the message. There are certain scriptures who talk like a master talking to the servant, very brutal, cutthroat. And then there are certain scriptures who talk like one friend talking to another friend. But you had mentioned Bhagavatam talks like a lover talks to a beloved. Yes, that is very much true. But when I was reading this chapter, it was feeling like Bhagavatam is giving like very hard whiplashes. It is like holding a mirror and giving this very, very vivid description of the material conditioned life. So, if you can say something about this, why does Bhagavatam do this to shake us up?
Three chapters, that is 30, 31, and 32,
Hmm.
talks about the material enjoyment in mode of ignorance,
Mhm.
in passion, and in goodness. That is irreligious sense enjoyment.
Uh-huh.
Other one is religious, so-called religious sense enjoyment, moral sense enjoyment,
Mhm.
immoral sense enjoyment, number one. Other one is irreligious sense enjoyment. And the third one is religious sense enjoyment. Tamas means immoral.
Mm.
So that person goes to hell.
Yeah.
Rajas means he is irreligious, but he has done some pious activity, some good. So he takes birth in a human life and then suffers.
Mm.
Tamasic people, they go to hell and suffer. And the Sattvic, they go to heaven and suffer
Mm.
because they're religious.
Mm.
So in this way, you have three Rajas, Tamasic, Rajasic, and Sattvic. Because the three kinds of devotion are three kinds of devotees in Tamas, Rajas, and Sattva are described. Then way, three kinds of non-devotees are described in three chapters.
Okay.
So your question specifically refers to why is it that this chapter is so heavy?
Mm.
Like a buffalo, you just cannot request a buffalo, hey buffalo, please sit down. You cannot do that. Then you have to beat. Hey, go this way, isn't it? Because it is ignorance.
Mm.
So ignorance requires harsh dealings. You cannot be very nice with ignorance. So if you want to shake a person who is sleeping, he's so ignorant, snoring and snoring. You just cannot say, oh, please get up. No, it doesn't work. So what do you have to do? You have to go take a stick and beat. Then he wakes up. Even after beating also, it doesn't wake up. It's just snoring till now. My mother used to do my childhood. She used to put water on my face, then wake up. So you need to do that to wake up a person who is in extreme ignorance. So that's the reason you require a master dealing with a servant. The harshness, like Vidura. He told his own brother, Dhritarashtra, he was eating the Uchishta of Bhima. He says, you are like a dog. Then he became, otherwise he was so attached to his throne in spite of he losing his sons.
Wow, very nice. So Maharaj, here, in the interest of time, I'm not going through all the details. However, I encourage the audience to please read it. It's very, very insightful. So, very nicely here it is said, regardless of in which species one is, the individual gets comfortable in that species. And why the individual gets comfortable, it is said because of attachment to the body, to the wife, to the children, to home, all these things. And then this person enamored, wanting to please and maintain all these people, he's working, 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 and a lot of times even in an immoral way, he's accumulating so much of papa karma. And very nicely, Prabhupada wrote this Bengali saying, I really loved it. Yeah, here it is in the 10th verse purport. So I'll just read the translation and that quote what Prabhupada writes. He secures money by committing violence here and there, and although he employs it in the service of his family, he himself eats only a little portion of the food thus purchased, and he goes to hell for those for whom he earned the money in such an irregular way. And this line, Bengali proverb. There is a Bengali proverb: the person for whom I have stolen accuses me of being a thief. So very nice. Prabhupada writes, we don't have the time to read the whole thing. So he's doing so much, and then he's telling all that money that he earned in moral or immoral ways, whatever, that money he left it to somebody, but he is only taking that papa karma and he is going to hell and he's suffering. And that also is so vividly described here, how he's beaten, these Yamadutas are coming, so much he has to traverse. Oh my God. So, what was my question? So anyway, my question here was this Papa Prajna. We think Papa means some gross thing, I am a good person. But engaging in sense gratification itself is Papa. And somehow, maybe in the previous generations, I remember you once you said your grandmother, as simple as she was bargaining with a vegetable vendor, and she bargained a little hard, and that lady felt bad. And she was leaving, and your grandmother literally called her, saying that if I make you cry, I will accumulate Papa. So, this Papa Prajna was really inherent in our ancestors. But somehow in our generation, that is gone. We are just very gross. We don't have this, oh, Papa, this, that, nothing. So, how can we become more conscious of what we are doing?
So when you are completely engrossed in ignorance and you don't discriminate between Papa and Punya. Discrimination between Papa and Punya comes at the level of goodness. In the level of ignorance, which has been described in this particular chapter, the only Punya you think is that the whole world is meant for my enjoyment.
Yes.
And it is okay to do anything for my enjoyment. If I had to beg, borrow, or steal, kill, it just doesn't matter. It's me. That's all. So when it comes to relationships of husband and wife or man and woman, so that man thinks I just had to. The woman is meant for my enjoyment. I can use her and then throw. When again somebody else, no problem. Money, all money is just meant for me. I just have to use all my intelligence to steal money or kill somebody, take money. It's called ignorance. But at the level of passion, then there is an understanding of kind of morality.
Mm-hmm.
So then he says, I work hard and enjoy. And I get married, so enjoy. I get my house and enjoy. So there is a concept of working hard and earning and enjoying. That is passion, moral. But now above morality, there is religiosity. So that religiosity, and only at that time, Papa and Punya comes in the picture. So he is following the scripture of religiosity. And passion, he follows the scriptures of morality. And tamas, he follows the scripture of his mind. Those who follow the scriptures of mind, they are bound by Amaraj, like this, what is described in this chapter.
Yes.
Those who are bound by morality, they are bound by Amaraj in the human life. And those who are bound by religiosity, they are bound by Amaraj in religious, sometimes heaven, sometimes earth. It goes on. So that's the whole sum and substance of these three chapters.
Wow. Wow. Very unfortunate, isn't it, Maharaj, for such people? When I say such people, including me also. So living whole life is going in mitigating misery, but we cannot, we will never succeed in that. And then just before death is also, it is miserable only, all the disease and ailments. And then death itself is painful. Then after death, hellish condition is also painful. And then in the next chapter is another horror show where Kapila Dev is going to talk about how this jiva is going to go into another mother's womb, and then again it is going to start. So what would you advise for people like me that we really, I mean, this chapter is really an eye opener.
Just be Krishna conscious.
Mm.
Go to the 33rd chapter, where Kapila is glorifying, Devi is glorifying Kapila and worshipping Kapila by nice, wonderful stotras, where she talks about the glories of the holy name. Namadeya, Shravananu Kirtana. So, just by Vachit, sometimes if somebody chants the names of the Lord, that Savanaya Kalpate, Padopi Savanaya Kalpate, and all those who are Pulinda, Andhra, Avira, Pulakasa, they all become Shuddhanti Tasmai just by chanting the names of the Lord. Prabhavishwai Namaha. So these are the verses in the Bhagavatam which glorify the holy name. So chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra and then give up all the pursuits of material happiness, because there's only one happiness, that is to please Krishna. There's no other solution other than being Krishna conscious. It is like saying that you go to a doctor, he identifies your disease, and the doctor gives a medicine. And then say, is there anything else other than this medicine? The doctor is saying it's only medicine. Then you get frustrated and say, go to hell. What do you want to do? By? So there is no hope other than being Krishna conscious. That's all. Whether it's sattva, rajas, tama, whether it's morality, immorality, immoral enjoyment, moral enjoyment, religious enjoyment. All these three things are not going to give any enjoyment. It's going to give suffering only.
Yeah. Nice, very nice, wonderful, Maharaj. So Maharaj, we'll quickly move to the Brahmastra section. So I'm just going to give you about dozen different quote-unquote devotional activities. So if you could tell us that devotional activity, whether the performer of that, whether they are in Tamoguna, Rajoguna or Sattvaguna, or is it Shuddha Sattva? So the first one, Maharaj, scrolling phone while chanting.
I don't understand.
Scrolling through the phone while chanting.
Okay, scrolling through the phone while chanting. It is a mode of passion.
Okay. Hoarding prasadam, keeping a few extra sweets or something, thinking that I'll eat it tomorrow.
Oh, I'll eat it tomorrow.
Yeah.
So that is passion. Others should not get, that is tamas.
Ah, how subtle is that? Okay. Okay.
I heard it. Nobody should get. I may eat or may not eat, but others should not get. That is tamas.
So would that become goodness if you're hoarding it, thinking that I'm going to give it to somebody who did not come?
Yeah, that is goodness. That is duty.
Oh, wow. That's nice. Okay. Next, competing with other devotees.
Passion.
Okay. Waiting for other devotees to say Hare Krishna first.
That's also passion.
Okay. Discriminating devotees based on who their Guru Maharaj is or what temple they are associated from or something like that.
Or who's their Guru Maharaj is. Discriminating them based on that. There is ignorance.
Okay. Memorizing verses, but however not taking the time to understand the meaning.
That is goodness.
Okay. The previous one, did you want to say something, Maharaj? I felt like I went a little too quick.
No.
Okay. Chanting while hearing Bhagavatam class.
That is an offense. It's an offense. It's ignorance.
Yeah, in one of your past classes, when I was hearing online, I saw that you literally stopped somebody. You said you do the chanting later, now you focus on the class. Yeah. Next one. Serving, but serving to impress others.
Passion.
Okay. Helping fellow devotees without.
Others,
Yeah.
serving to impress your spiritual master and Krishna, that is transcendental.
Mm.
But to impress others, in the sense to get some appreciation from others,
Yeah.
that's passion.
Okay, got it. Helping fellow devotees without being asked.
It's transcendental.
Yes, okay. Doing household chores while secretly chanting mentally.
Oh, that is pure devotional service.
Okay. Offering store-bought food to Krishna.
Offering
Store-bought food to Krishna.
store brought,
Yeah.
purchased from
Mhm,
store.
outside. Yeah.
You purchase some, you get pizza from McDonald's and then
Yeah, and then
you
offer
offer
it.
to Krishna.
Or potato chips or anything.
Ignorance.
Okay. Decorating the altar with plastic flowers and all the shiny stuff and all that.
That is Mahatamas.
Okay. Then the last one, being attached to one particular type of service.
One particular kind of service.
Hmm.
Attached to service is transcendental.
Somebody says if you tell them to do something, it's like, no, I will do only this. I'm not going to do other.
When you say, I'm not going to do that, then that becomes passion.
Okay.
But to be attached to a particular service
in
and
that sense.
not having any, hatred or aversion to some other service.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic, Maharaj. Thank you so much. So regardless of what is going on and how busy you are week after week, you've been taking time. It means a lot. And in English, they say, I don't know the exact quote. It says something like, once your mind is expanded, it is never going to come back to the same position. So every single episode of Pariprashna is like that mind expansion session. So where you take us to deeper levels of understanding, give these paradigm shifting viewpoints. So very, very grateful for that, Maharaj. Thank you so much. So, Hare Krishna, everyone. There we go. That was our brief discussion on chapters 29 and 30. And the 30th chapter, we've really skimmed through it. So, I would really advise that you please take some time about it. Will not take more than 30 minutes. You can just go through this whole chapter. It is really eye opening. Please do that. And I hope that you already know that we have launched a brand new podcast in a totally different format called The Debate Harmonizing Contradictions. In case you are not already aware of it, the first episode is available on Aradhana online YouTube channel. So please watch it. I'm sure that you are going to thoroughly enjoy it. So we will be back in the next episode, that is the 52nd episode. Get ready for another awakening session where Kapila Dev is going to talk about what happens to this jiva who suffered enormously through all these hellish conditions and in the next life is getting into another mother's womb. So today we talked about death. Next episode will start at the point of birth. So it's going to be quite enlightening. I can't wait to see you in the next episode. Until then, take care. And as always, stay inquisitive and stay Krishna conscious. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.